Your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
Good morning and welcome to Weekend Breakfast. I'm Miriam Corriwell.
And I'm Richard Davies. Making news this morning, another tragedy at sea. Dozens of migrants drown as their boat capsizes while trying to cross from Turkey to Greece.
Also ahead, Queensland Police defend the time taken to advise the public of an investigation into an infant homicide.
The search continues for a fourth victim of a plane that crashed off the Victorian coast on Friday.
And a major upset at the Australian Open Women's Final as Angelique Kerber beats world #1 Serena Williams.
She's created history. What a win.
Hello, thank you for joining us. It's Sunday, the 31st of January.
There's plenty coming up on Weekend Breakfast this morning.
The top stories from ABC News. At least 39 migrants, including several children, have drowned trying to cross the Aegean Sea from Turkey to Greece. Officials say the boat was carrying at least 120 people when it capsized off Turkey's western coast. More than 70 have been rescued so far, but the local Coast Guard is still searching for survivors. The latest tragedy comes just days after 26 migrants drowned when their boat sank off the coast of the Greek island of Samos.
There are reports that at least 16 more people have died of starvation in the besieged Syrian town of Madaya since an aid convoy entered earlier this month. Aid agency Médecins Sans Frontières has warned that dozens more are close to death due to severe malnutrition. The operations director of MSF says the situation is getting worse and residents should have been evacuated weeks ago. It's believed a total of 46 people have died of starvation in Madaya since December.
Meanwhile, a delegation from Syria's main opposition group has flown to Geneva for UN-mediated talks aimed at ending the Syrian conflict. The Higher Negotiation Committee is a bloc of political and militant opponents of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The HNC says it will only take part in the talks if Syrian government forces end their airstrikes and blockades against civilians. The Syrian civil war has been the biggest driver behind Europe's refugee crisis.
Turkey says a Russian jet has violated its airspace and it summoned the Russian ambassador to Ankara. The Turkish Foreign Ministry says the incident happened despite a number of warnings being issued. President Tayyip Erdogan has warned Russia that it would bear the consequences if it continued to violate Turkey's sovereignty. Tensions have been high since Turkey shot down a Russian plane which violated its airspace near Syria in November.
Tens of thousands of people have staged a mass rally in Rome, urging the government to drop its proposed gay rights laws. The controversial bill offers same-sex couples legal recognition and limited adoption rights. The Italian Parliament is due to vote on the proposed changes in the coming weeks. The rally comes after Pope Francis issued a reminder of the Church's stance on gay marriage, saying the traditional family was the family God wants. Italy is the last major country in Western Europe that has not offered rights or recognition to same-sex couples.
Chinese authorities have released footage of a group of miners who were trapped underground for 36 days. The video was recorded on a mobile phone that was sent down to them before their rescue yesterday. The 4 miners, at times emotional, thanked the teams above ground for working to save them. The men were among 29 people trapped when the mine in eastern Shandong province collapsed on Christmas Day. 13 miners are still missing and are presumed dead.
A Queensland police officer has been charged with the murder of his 2-month-old son. The baby died in 2014 and police have defended the time it's taken for them to make the investigation public. The infant had significant injuries and was rushed to hospital from his home on Brisbane's Bayside, but died soon after. His 38-year-old father is a senior constable and was stood down a month later. The man will face court on Monday.
Emergency services will today resume the search for the wreckage of a plane in waters off southwest Victoria. The aircraft left Moorabbin Airport on Friday before it went down in waters off Point Lonsdale, killing all 4 passengers. 3 bodies have been recovered, but police believe the 4th victim is still in the wreckage of the plane, about 30 metres below the surface on the ocean floor.
Destructive winds from Cyclone Stan have begun battering Western Australia's Pilbara coast. A short time ago, the cyclone was 70 kilometres north of Pardue and is expected to make landfall in the next few hours. Stan is no longer expected to reach a Category 3 cyclone, but warnings are in place from Broome to Wim Creek and inland as it brings wind gusts of up to 155 kilometres per hour.
The Greens are again calling for the factory trawler Geelong Star to be permanently banned from Australian waters. It comes after 7 albatross were killed on its latest fishing trip. The Australian Fisheries Management Authority has temporarily banned the ship until new mitigation measures are developed. The 95-metre trawler was also banned last year after the deaths of 9 dolphins and 12 fur seals. AFMA says this time 5 of the albatross were killed in one trawl.
Federal Health Minister Susan Lee has told private health insurers to justify their proposed fee hikes. They're seeking an average of around 6% this year, with some wanting to slug consumers an extra 10%. The Health Department has ordered funds to reduce their proposed premium increases or provide more information. The proposal comes despite 500,000 Australians downgrading their insurance in the last financial year.
The will of rock star David Bowie reveals he's left an estate valued at $140 million. Half of the assets will go to his widow Iman and the rest shared between his 2 children. It also contains a request for his ashes to be scattered in Bali in a Buddhist ritual. The singer died of cancer earlier this month, aged 69. And it's time to check sport, and it's a very good morning to Georgie Tunney.
Angelique Kerber is the Australian Open Women's Champion for 2016 after producing one of the biggest upsets in history, taking down 21-time Grand Slam winner Serena Williams in 3 sets. It was Kerber's first major final, but she wasn't overawed by the occasion at all. Kerber stunned the world number 1 in the opening set, taking advantage of Williams' 23 unforced errors to seal it 6-4. The defending champ fought back in the second to force a decider, but again, Kerber scored the early break and held on for the first major of her career, 6-4, 3-6, 6-4. Kerber is the first German woman to win a singles Grand Slam crown since Steffi Graf 17 years ago.
And thank you for your company here on Weekend Breakfast. Still to come, more details on the latest tragedy on the sea between Turkey and Greece as thousands of refugees continue their push into Europe.
Also ahead, the search for the wreckage and 4th victim of a plane crash south of Victoria will resume later today.
And later, the first pictures out of Tasmania's World Heritage Zone reveal the full extent of the damage as bushfires continue to burn across the state.
Checking the satellite, and a complex set of low pressure systems across the east are bringing areas of thundery showers from Queensland through to Victoria. Tropical cyclone Stan is crossing the Pilbara, while another trough is triggering thunderstorms across the Northern Territory and Western Australia. Around the country and in Queensland, hot in the southeast and very hot in the west, thunderstorms and showers in the east and north. In New South Wales, areas of heavy rain and storms in the southeast, hot in the northwest, and it'll be windy along the coast. Showers throughout Victoria with isolated heavy falls in the east of the state. Tasmania is experiencing showers which are the heaviest in the east and northeast. It'll be windy also in the east and in the north. In South Australia, it'll be hot in the west with patchy thundery showers developing, warm in the east of the state. Western Australia can expect heavy rain and storms inland, hot in the southwest ahead of a late cool change with some isolated showers. Showers and storms across the Northern Territory. It'll be hot and humid throughout. And looking ahead to tomorrow's forecast for the capital cities, Brisbane and Sydney, partly cloudy with the chance of showers. Mostly sunny for Adelaide. Canberra, cloudy with a high chance of rain and possible thunderstorms. Partly cloudy for Melbourne, cloudy with showers in Hobart. Partly cloudy in Perth and cloudy with rain and a possible thunderstorm in Darwin. Time for a look at the front pages of today's major newspapers now.
Sunshine Subway. Queensland's Sunday Mail reports on a new plan to replace the city's inner city buses with an underground metro system, which would be the first of its kind in Australia if it were to go ahead.
Over my dead body, South Australia's Sunday Mail has the story of how the state's next of kin laws are leaving families in confusing and distressing conflicts over assets, estates and even burial rights, prompting calls for a major overhaul.
The Sunday Telegraph has an interview with Michael Clark talking about his future in cricket and refusing to rule out taking another swing at playing for Australia.
There will be blood. The Sun Herald reports a Sydney man who returned from the battlefield in Syria is warning of more attacks like the murder of police accountant Curtis Cheng.
The Herald Sun's cover story is about Angelique Kerber's stunning victory over Serena Williams at yesterday's Australian Open women's final.
The Sunday Age also has the story of the German player's incredible 6-4, 3-6, 6-4 win over the world number one.
And clueless, the Western Australian Sunday Times reports the state's police commissioner doesn't actually know why crime rates are spiralling out of control across WA after the paper's analysis found 600 crimes a day are being committed across the state.